So back in January, I received an email from one of our subscribers here on the channel, and it talked about the leaks regarding Modern Warfare 4. Now, he grabbed the leaks and everything that we know so far from all the numerous leaks over the past few months and kind of put them into a plot, story synopsis of what he thinks Modern Warfare 4 is going to be about and how the story is going to unfold. Now, I got a lot of emails about a lot of different things, and I can't get to all of them. Some of them I can't do, but some I will get to, but it just takes me a long time to get to them because of all the other stuff that we got going on behind the scenes. But this is from Milo, and I really like this theory, and this is what he believes the plot of Modern Warfare 4 will be. So this is his theory, and I rewrote it a little bit just to make more sense to me and how I'm going to be breaking it down for you. So according to Milo, the leaks of Modern Warfare 4 will begin with a major terrorist attack in New York City. This detail was reportedly hinted at in leaks connected to Call of Duty headquarters, and if they turn out to be true, it could set the stage for the entire conflict of the game. The most interesting part is who gets blamed for the attack on New York. The theory suggests that the attack is pinned on the ULF, or the Urzikstan Liberation Forces. This would line up perfectly with what we saw happening in Call of Duty MW3, where Makarov was already trying to manipulate global events and frame the ULF. Makarov has always despised Urzikstan and the resistance fighters and Farah Karim because of the death of the former Russian commander Roman Barkov and his mentor. He believed that Barkov was a patriot who was unjustly killed by the ULF, and if he frames the ULF for an attack on American soil, Makarov could completely destroy their international reputation. Now, he states that this is where things may get a little bit complicated. The United States has a strange relationship with the ULF. Officially, the group has been labeled as a terrorist organization, but unofficially, the US has worked with them in the past. That would create a huge problem for one particular character, Alex, the CIA operative who is closely tied to the ULF and fought alongside them in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. If the ULF were blamed for a terrorist attack in New York, Alex could suddenly find himself caught between two sides. But the New York attack may not be about revenge. According to the theory here, it could be a part of a much larger strategy on behalf of Makarov. By framing the ULF for terrorism in the US, Makarov could pressure the US government to withdraw support from Urzikstan completely, allowing Russia to justify returning to the region under the banner of counterterrorism operations. So, in other words, Russia could claim that they're simply finishing a mission once conducted by a former commander, Barkov. However, there's still one major obstacle: the US military presence in Urzikstan. As long as American forces are stationed there, Russia cannot fully occupy the region again. This is where the Korean conflict angle could come into play. Now, the theory goes on to suggest that Makarov could form an alliance with Kim Jong-un because Makarov is technically a terrorist and not an official representative of Russia. He provides plausible deniability for the Russian government. This means Russia could indirectly support him while avoiding direct blame. In this agreement, Makarov could conduct a false flag attack designed to make it look like South Korea started the conflict. Once tensions would explode on the Korean Peninsula, including US forces in Korea would be pulled into a major war. With the United States suddenly focused on a crisis in Korea, troops stationed in Urzikstan could be redeployed, leaving the region vulnerable and allowing Russia to move in. So here is where Task Force 141 would fit into all of it. Just like in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, their missions would likely revolve around tracking down and exposing Makarov before his plans spiral into a global conflict. However, the team could look very different this time around due to the death of John Soap McTavish in Modern Warfare 3. Task Force 141 might expand into a larger unit, possibly 8 or 12 operators, instead of the small elite squad that we're used to. And they would be led by Captain Price, Ghost, and Gas. And of course, they would be receiving additional international support. One possibility is that South Korean forces, particularly the Republic of Korea, could act as the local allied military force in this Korean storyline, similar to how Alejandro Vargas and the Mexican Special Forces supported Task Force 141 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. At the same time, the game could feature another playable perspective entirely, with the US Marines operating in Urzikstan. According to earlier leaks, leaks, players may be controlling members of the Demon Dogs led by Staff Sergeant Griggs, fighting on the ground while the larger geopolitical situation unfolds. Now, this theory basically spans into three major threats: the United States after the New York attack, Urzikstan, where Russian influence begins to return, and the Korean Peninsula, where a new war threatens to break out. And all of it would be orchestrated or connected by one man pulling the strings from the shadows, Vladimir Makarov. And so this is a very, very interesting, a very cool look into a potential storyline for Modern Warfare 4. Here is where things on a personal level, I kind of agree and don't agree with some stuff. Like the ULF. This would seem that the ULF would play a big conflict in Modern Warfare 4. And I personally don't want that anymore. I don't want to go to Urzikstan. I don't want to see what Farah is doing. But it makes sense, right? Because this Modern Warfare reboot has branded Makarov as a follower of Roman Barkov and his forces. And it, pissed him off when he died. And he did want to take down Urzikstan for his former mentor. Like, that makes sense. That did happen. So, of course, when you factor that into the story, that could be the case, and you could spend a lot of time in Urzikstan because of that. But I think seeing Urzikstan so much in this rebooted trilogy or this rebooted Modern Warfare series has been such a fucking drag to me in general. I think their first appearance in MW19 was fantastic. I thought their cameo in MW2 was good, and then I thought MW3 just showed them for no real fucking reason, and I really dislike that. And sometimes too much of something becomes bad, right? And so seeing Urzikstan be a focal point is something that I'm not really interested in, but I could see why it would work. I think having this theory and this story kind of show maybe Putin or Kim Jong-un or like real life leaders and what they're doing in current times, I don't know that would happen. I don't know what it is, but like in Modern Warfare or, with some of these games and in this rebooted world, I don't know how many real like political figures we've actually gotten in the story. So I don't know if that would happen. Like, we definitely have gotten some political figures from the past, but nothing currently. So I don't know if they would actually have that. Maybe they would assume that we as the players know that these people are in charge, but they would go through somebody else. Like maybe North Korea would be ruled by the second in command and it would be this other guy. And maybe the Russia, missions or the Russian government would be ruled, or we'd be going through the guy who's second in command to Putin and stuff like that. So I think that angle could work. Also, it talks about, Alex and how he could be caught in the middle of a fight between the US and Urzikstan. But if you really look at Alex, it seems like he chose, right? Alex has been kind of disavowed almost from the US government. He left, so he's not allowed to go back into the US. That's something that we have learned over the last few years that we've been covering Call of Duty. We've learned that Alex Keller cannot return to the US, so it seems like he already chose a side. So I don't know if Alex would necessarily be like a big part of this story. Would I like to see him be a big part of this story? 100%, but maybe it could make sense. Maybe he has some friends still within the CIA and a few things happen and he could be the bridge that kind of gaps everything together. I think playing as the Demon Dogs, that is probably going to happen. As much as maybe we wanted Delta and a few other people to return, that may not happen because the Demon Dogs were rumored and hinted at and leaked to be making an appearance in this game, and Sergeant Griggs being one of their leaders. We'll probably have the Demon Dogs, we'll probably have some of the South Korean forces, and then we'll have Task Force 141 kind of all working together to try to get to the bottom of what Makarov is doing and what this plot to have everybody at war be. I think this is a really fucking cool theory for Milo. I really do like it. There's a few things that maybe could be cleaned up, and of course some of these leaks could be wrong, right? Not all of these leaks are going to be 100% accurate. There was a leak about the New York City attack and how that may or may not actually occur. So there's a lot of things that are changing all the time, and with all the freaking events and everything that's kind of been plaguing Modern Warfare 4 in terms of leaks and kind of shutting people down, who knows what changes they've made to the campaign or to the story in general. What I do like about this plot theory from Milo is how it sets everything kind of up. It seems to have like a really structured way of telling the story. This could be a wonderful return to form for Modern Warfare in terms of the campaign. This could be a wonderful return to form in terms of how you do the missions, right? This could be linear missions that are actually built from the ground up instead of just throwing you in a map and then kind of giving you an open world or an open combat mission sort of thing to do. do, right? Because what if we do have to have a mission nurse extended and they throw us as like the demon dogs, and then it's like this big ass section like Black Ops 7, and then we're just doing objectives, and then they throw us into Korea and we're playing as, you know, I don't know, Price and Task Force 141, and then we're doing these objectives in this big ass open space. That would fucking suck, right? That would suck so bad. I really want it to be like linear missions, but I think this story could work tremendously, and I really like it. So again, thank you to Milo for his theory. What do you guys think about it? What would you change? What would you add? Or do you have your own theories on the plot of Modern Warfare 4?